Hello everybody, welcome to this special episode related to Scott motorcycles, and in this we're going to explain why I'm stood here in front of an 1899 Premier bicycle. Well, this is an 1899 Premier Gents Racing bicycle, and the reason I've got it is because this is where the story of Scott motorcycles began. Alfred Angus Scott, who founded the company, used to work for Premier Bicycles. And here's Alfred Scott himself on a Premier bike in 1901. The very first Scott motorcycles that were made in period, I think 1902, 1903, this kind of time, were actually Premier bicycles with Scott engines fitted to them. And initially he fitted an engine in front here and drove it with a friction roller onto the front wheel, and later on mounted the engine behind the headstock in this area here and used a belt drive transmission with a clutch to the rear wheel. So this is where it all began. But this is a Premier bicycle. I've just finished doing a mechanical restoration of it, and it's interesting in itself. As I say, this is an 1899 model. There's a couple of changes on it, but the main thing that separates Premier bicycles from most others of the period are that all of the tubes on the bike are made from spiral wrap plate. They are not tubular in the sense of being drawn out in a tube. They are wrapped flat plate, and then the joints are all braced together, and it makes a very, very strong and very lightweight bike. The issue being that over time, if they get a lot of abuse, the joints do crack. So anyway, the Premier bike was a really premium, top quality product of the day. So we'll have a quick introduction of this, and I might even try and ride it. Starting at the front of the bike, we've got conventional forks here. It's on 28 by 1.5 rims. These are later Dunlop stainless rims because the original ones were completely rotten, and I've re-spoked them because the spokes were completely shot. So same size rims, front and rear, 28 by 1.5. Conventional forks and head stem. We have got the horseshoe type brake on the front. This is a Fibrax 144 brake blocks here. And they provide next to no stopping power at all, and there's no brake on the rear. So I'm sure the thing's going to be absolutely frightening to ride because you can't stop it. So the brake is mechanically linked, horseshoe here. This is the brake lever, mechanical link there, and it was conventional for the time. Conventional handlebars pointed backwards here, and I've put new period grips on it. Done the head bearings, adjusted those, they're all okay. Moving rearwards, we have a period leather saddle made in Coventry, but I can't quite read the maker's name, and I don't know enough about bicycles to identify it by looking at it. It looks incredibly uncomfortable. It reminds me why I don't ride push bikes very much. But anyway, it's period, it's there. The frame, spiral tubes on them all. This has got a Brampton crank. I think bicycle people call this a bottom bracket. Crank there, skip link sprockets. This is a Charter Lee sprocket, funnily enough, and it's got later pedals on there because the original pedals were missing. Fitted with cotters, these are. Some of them I think were on a taper from this period, and I've got a leaf chain because I haven't been able to get hold of a roller skip link chain at the moment. Anyway, I've rebuilt that, put new bearings in, everything feels nice. Going towards the rear of the bike, we have the rear wheel hub, and this rear wheel hub is actually solid brass. Funnily enough, it's not made out of steel, but it's very, very lightweight. They've machined everything out of it. It has 7/32 bearings in one side and 1/4 inch in the other, just to add mass confusion and unnecessary complication. I had to make a couple of adjusters for the chain. And originally this bike was what they would call left-hand drive because it has the divot in the frame for the sprocket there, it's been converted to right-hand drive, and this is actually right-hand drive of the type that Alfred Angus used to use on the bikes that he converted to engine, because the engine drive went to the left. So that's part of the reason I've got this bike, because of the right-hand drive conversion. And we've got a freewheel, so it's not solid drive. We've got a freewheel on here, and it's the correct orientation to be on the right-hand drive. It's a right-hand thread there, so it tightens as you pedal. So that's it. There's not much more to say about it. 1899, it's 121 years old. I don't think I've ridden any bike of any kind for about 2 or 3 years, so I suppose I should give this a test ride now, being that I've never ridden this bike either. So we're in lockdown, but you're allowed to ride bikes, so I think it's time to get this outside and try and have a pedal and see if it actually rides. Let's give it a go. It was at this point, jumping on it, I realised even with the seat and handlebars right down, it's quite tall. So off we go, the first few tentative pedals. It doesn't seem too bad, as long as you keep your knees away from the corners of the handlebars. That's okay, I'm pretty pleased with that for a first ride. Time to get a bit braver now and possibly tighten up that seat. It's out onto the road so we can get a bit more speed up. And the bike seems to ride very nicely. So I decided to put Leon on it and see how he got on. It's a bit more wobbly. Yep.
Oh, those brakes.
We'll give it a go for another lap, have a run round there.
How are you going to ride this thing with an engine? Unstable push you ever been on?
I guess some people just aren't born to be cyclists.
At least it's got a freewheel. I mean, it does have brakes, but not really.
So I thought I'd jump on and have another run round. I'm braking. I'm still braking. I'm still braking. I'll stop with my feet. Well, there we are. That's pretty good. It rides okay. Your knees hit the handlebars, your toes hit the front tyre. It's very wobbly, and it's quite tall even with the seat right down. But anyway, it's a good bit of fun. So there we are, Premier Bicycle 1899, as the type ridden by Alfred Angus Scott. That's it. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and who knows what we'll be doing next. Cheers everyone.